Hello, my name is Sean and I'm an artist. I work as an animator and a designer. And this is my home art studio. I would love to show you how I got it to this point because not too long ago this room looked very, very different. Let me briefly go back to when we first got the place. This room had pine skirting boards and laminate flooring and wallpaper. And so the first thing we did was take up the floor, and it was really easy. It took like 20 minutes. It was really fun. I thought it was going to be a nightmare and it would take like the entire afternoon. And then we stripped off the wallpaper over the next few weeks.
He's going for a full sheet. Can you do it?
My dreams, my hope and dreams. This was like during the period where everything we did made the place look worse. It's funny, I have a clip from that time where I'm in this room talking through my entire plan and the whole thing was in my head as far back as like a year ago. So this is the room that's eventually going to be my studio, which I'm very excited for. I know it doesn't look like much right now because it's just a big grey cube, but it actually took a lot of work to get it to this point. Let me show you the layout that I'm thinking about. So this room is going to be white and I want it like really clean with maybe like, I don't know, little pops of primer colors, maybe. Like I want it to be colorful. I'm going to put prints on this wall above my desk. This thing that I've got, it's all metal. I think it might be kind of cool to put a really nice, like rich wooden top on it. I'm thinking maybe cherry. And then shelves above it made from the same wood. Beside the TV stand here, my amp. I think I might get a metal cabinet. I can put my like lights and tripods and stuff in and just like close the door and have it be out of the way. I'm massively excited for that. Over the next month I painted the ceiling and then I moved on to the walls. Big shout out to Gilux's First Cuddle from the Easy Care Kids range. We got new wooden floors put in and then later some skirting boards, and for the first time it started to feel like our home, you know? I actually still need to paint the skirting boards in most of the house. It's just backbreaking, I don't want to do it. Anyway, this yellow cabinet was the first piece of furniture that we brought into the house and I was so excited to put it together. Before we properly moved in here, I had to come around a couple of times to meet like electricians and plumbers and people like that. And so I set up a makeshift desk to work at, which was just an old door on two sawhorses, and it sucked. It was so high that it hurt my back to sit at. So taking that out on the day that we actually moved in was real nice. It was really nice starting to see my workspace come together. You know, I think after we moved in, I was still surrounded by boxes and junk for months and months, but at the very least I had a desk that I could work at comfortably, and it was the start of it, you know, like that was hugely exciting. Man, I'd been looking forward to putting up Pegboards for months. It was one of the first big organizational things that I did when we finally moved in. I'm so obsessed with like having the perfect setup for whatever hobby, so there are as few obstacles between me and that thing as possible, you know? In this case specifically, it was about having my amp and my pedals right there so I can access them immediately, and everything that I need on the wall behind them, like cables and stuff. So if I want to play, there's no setup needed, I can just do it in seconds. And that's how I feel about everything in this room. I want it all available. As soon as I get an idea, I want to be able to do it. I think a lot of this comes from having lived in tiny apartments where I didn't have a studio space and we didn't really have much room for anything. At one point, my desk was like in our kitchen, in another in the corner of our bedroom. For me, like when my stuff is kind of buried and I have to dig it out to use it, it makes me more reluctant to even bother in the first place. Putting my iPad on the wall was again just about being able to grab it quickly. I use it most days, but it had never really had a permanent home before, and I like when things have a home, you know? Not in like an overbearing way, but in like a cool and chill and like admirable kind of way. I use these hard drives to back my footage up onto, and I decided to put them onto the wall because it used to drive me absolutely crazy how there never seemed to be a proper spot to put them down on the desk when I was backing stuff up onto them. Like the cables kind of pushed them and moved them and I'd just be bouncing them in weird spots. Do you know what I mean? I hated it. And this works so well. I can get to them really quickly and put them away just as easily. It's great. Obviously, I wrote the numbers on long before I knew that they were going to be on the wall, so I didn't know they'd be upside down. And I was going to fix them, but I kind of like that detail, you know?
I don't exactly know what's going to go up here, but I know the first thing that I need is to keep these vitamins at eye level, because I'm vegetarian and I'm supposed to take them, and I cannot remember to do it. And if they're at eye level, I have to remember.
I put another pegboard up right beside my desk for some more kind of general stuff, and I've actually rearranged them all since I filmed this. It's nice to work in a space for a while and kind of figure out what works and what doesn't and change it as you need it. Before we moved in here, when I wanted to charge anything, it was kind of like, okay, there's a plug in the sitting room and there's one under my desk, and it was just kind of messy, you know? And so I built this little charging station to have one dedicated spot for everything to charge using an IKEA cart and a chopping board. And it's been so handy. I'm really, really glad I did it. And I actually made a video about the whole thing if you want to go and watch that. So earlier I mentioned getting a freestanding locker for camera gear. I did get it. This is the only one that I can find that was tall enough for a boom arm I have, and it's designed so that you have to make up the side by fixing two pieces together. I assume it was like probably done for the sake of shipping a smaller package, but like design wise, I don't love it as much. But I do really like how vibrant the color is, so it kind of balances out. You know, it needed to be functional. There was other nicer ones, but I needed it for this boom arm. Oh yeah, this shot made me laugh when I first saw it. I forgot to tighten down my tripod, so my camera was just like, bye. But I just wanted to show you because I think my guitar pedals and the two cabinets match really nicely. We had a regular pendant light in this room, but I wanted something more fun. So I ordered this ridiculous looking thing. It kind of reminds me of, you know those abacus toys that were always in doctor's office waiting rooms when I was a kid? Is that universal? Do they still have those? I don't know. We got a man to come and install it because I don't mess with electricity, and then I put in 5 60-watt bulbs without any real concept of how bright that was going to be. And oh my god, it's bright.
Whoa, that is crazy
holy
bright.
Shit.
Oh my god.
That's too bright.
No, because when I film, wow, it's like such an even light across the whole room.
Yeah, because
That's
they're all
awesome.
pointing to different directions,
Yeah.
which is good.
This is a plan that I drew for the room when I couldn't sleep one night, and you can see that I was thinking about maybe having a second desk. Around that time, there was still boxes and junk and tools lying around. I still didn't have shelves yet, but I did take my girlfriend's old desk in here to see if I liked having two. I lose so much space having a cintiq on my desk, so I wanted a second one just for fun. But honestly, until recently, it mostly just gathered junk that I didn't know where else to put. From now, I'm trying to keep it clear so I can see how I like it. I finally put some prints up because I was feeling frustrated by the lack of progress with the rest of the room. I was having trouble finding the studs in the wall to put the shelves up, and so yeah, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to proceed. And sometimes when I don't know the answer to something, I kind of just freeze for months until one day I just like make a decision and then plow ahead with it. But until I made that decision, I just wanted to do something quick and easy. And I cannot tell you how nice it was to be able to do something so small and have it make such a huge impact on the whole room. This place is way nicer to work from since I did that. And I know that's like kind of obvious, like an art studio without art on the walls is just kind of boring. But I gotta say, like just in case it hasn't occurred to you, like it didn't occur to me for quite a while, being able to look up from your desk and see a bunch of cool stuff you really like on the wall, it's pretty good. I recommend it. My 22 HD cintiq died on me after 10 years of use. And so for a while I was using this 13 HD that I got secondhand off of eBay years ago, but it's just too small. And so I upgraded to the 2019 22-inch model. Obviously it's not the newest one, but I just could not justify spending €3,500 on the one that came out last year. Lads, are you joking me? I do know that there's Huion and other companies making similar tablets, but I just heard a little bit of faff about them that I didn't really want to get into, so I just bought what I knew because I just wanted it to be done with, you know? So, my plan for shelving on this wall was 6 vertical brackets across the wall and then 4 shelves, 6 foot in length, but I didn't think about this until the brackets arrived. I don't think there are 6 studs in the wall spaced 1 foot apart, so I'm not going to be able to put the brackets up as I wanted to. I'm actually not sure where the studs are because I've used this stud finder a few times and it's given me different locations every time, which I don't know how that's possible. Look, I'm not going to waste your time making you watch the entire hour of footage I have of me trying to find the studs in this wall, but let's just say that someday I'm going to take my stud finder outside and smash it up like the printer scene in Office Space. After quite a bit of frustration, I just drew a straight line across the wall where I knew the first shelf was going to sit, and then in a fit of ennui, just started drilling holes where I thought there might be a stud, the success rate of which was dismally low, but it was okay because I knew that they would be hidden by the shelf, or I could patch them. Spoilers, I just hid them. But anyway, I did manage to find a second stud. It was where the stud finder had told me there was a stud. I just decided, right, we'll drill it and see. Very nice, thank you very much. I also went a little drill happy over here, just trying to find one, and didn't. Meaning that the 2 studs I found are like 35 inches apart, with apparently nothing in between them. When I do the little tap test, sure enough, that sounds more dense. I looked it up online, you're supposed to just use your fingertip apparently. And over here, oh boy, that sounds so dense. Okay, I think I actually did find a stud there, which is good news. There's at least 3 in the wall. So when I figured out where the brackets were gonna go and how many I'd need, I was able to sand them all down and then prime them and paint them a yellow that would match the cabinet below them. I didn't wear a respirator at first because I thought, I'm only going to be in here for a couple of minutes. How bad can it be? Those fumes are no joke, and I wore one the rest of the time that I did it. Today's the day that these brackets go up. I'm very excited. I'm going to start moving stuff out of the way and then just go for it. Oh, it's hard to move. Oh, you know what? I haven't even compared the brackets to that cabinet yet. I don't think the yellow is an exact match, but it's pretty close. The stud is like right here and my drill is too big to be able to hold straight. A while ago I got one of these with a hex shank on it, and now you can use your driver to drill. I think the way I'm going to make this work is to Frankenstein these 2 things together. Now I should be able to drill into that corner. That worked great. Okay, I basically have shelves up. The rest will just fall into place. No, it's only gonna get much harder from here, of course. My next stud is here, and then my next stud is here, and then I have plaster screws to get the last 2 in, so they won't be kind of like load bearing, but they'll take some of the load. So I'm gonna skip over this one for now, because this is my actual stud, and then I'll just figure out where the middle is. Oh, that's so solid, man. That is such a relief. So the thing is now I've got, it's like 18.4, 18.4, and then like 23, which I knew that was going to happen because of the placements of the studs, so there's nothing I could do about it. But what I could do is match this distance here, and then it kind of, there would be some symmetry to it. I think that's the way to go. So the wood that I used for the shelves is red oak, and I had 4 8-foot lengths to make them. But I actually ordered a lot more than that to put a wooden top onto the yellow metal cabinet because I thought it'd be really nice if they matched. But that is something that you'll see me do in another video. This is a fun fact, that wood was actually sat under our couch for 5 months before I used it, which is exactly what I mean by when I don't know what to do, I just freeze. Anyway, I cut each board to the right length, and then I cut little notches out of each of them so that they would fit nicely around the metal brackets and I could push them back to sit tight against the wall. It would be great if this slid on first try. Okay. When they were all done, I really took my time to sand them properly, and then I got them all clean and dust free, and then finished them with Danish oil, which I had never used before, and it looks absolutely beautiful. The grain just pops and the wood took on this really rich, beautiful tone. Oh, I love it. I think the second layer of paint that I put on these was just a bit too thick, and when I put the top coat on, quite a few of them ran, and it just doesn't look very good. In fact, this is one of the better ones. If I was to fix the problem, I'd have to sand them all again, prime them, probably 3 coats of paint and then a top coat, and I'd have to wait in between each step, and I don't know how long that would take, another week, 2 weeks. I'm impatient and I just want shelves. Finished is better than perfect. Shelves are better than no shelves. It is what it is, we'll just go with it. I think they look fine, which is kind of disappointing because I was hoping to be absolutely wowed, but they're fine, aren't they? They look fine. There is like a medical facility vibe to it, and I think it's just this type of shelving. What can you do? It's on the wall now, no going back. When I moved all my books over from my parents' house, they filled 12 shopping bags, and I was starting to get a little scared. Like, I was convinced they weren't all gonna fit. But my original plan was to have 4 shelves that were 6 foot in length, and in the end they were 6 foot 6 inches, so a combined total of 26 feet of shelving. So I have space. I just found these photo booth pictures of my friends Dee and Louise. I didn't know that was in there. I really didn't have a plan for how I was going to arrange things. I was kind of just figuring it out as I went along and seeing what looked good. And I think it looks great. Like, it really fills out the space nicely, but in future, if I need more space, I can absolutely budge things a little closer together or move stuff around. Like, just because it looks nice and full, by no means is it actually full, you know? So I have this Morty tattoo on my arm. It was my first tattoo. I don't really watch Rick and Morty anymore. Anyway, I got it when I was younger. But through some weird circumstances, I ended up with this, which I think was like a gift for the season 1 crew. So you open it up and it's got a flask inside. So I don't know how rare this is. I don't know how many there are in the world, but I have one. When I was a kid, I had about 20 of these figures. And then I got a bit older and was like, I don't want toys hanging around anymore, so I got rid of them. I cannot tell you what I would do to have that collection back. I did always plan to put some of the bigger art books on top of the cabinet like this, partly because of the size of them, and also I was kind of afraid, genuinely, that the weight might pull the wall down. I did not plan to have so many of them out like this, so it's kind of crowded. Eventually, I'll put most of them into the cabinet, but there's a lot of tools in there that I need to sort out right now, so for the meantime, they'll just hang out here on top. I'm a fully grown man, but when I took Woody down off the shelf in my parents' house, I looked him dead in the eyes and I said, "You're coming to my house." When I put these notebooks up here, I saw that I had 13 of them. And so I took this one that I just finished and I labeled it 14 and I popped it up. And then a week later, I found 14, 15, and 16. So this one should be 17. I had some pictures to hang, but I couldn't figure out where I was going to put them. So I took photos of everything and then very quickly photoshopped some options. This is the one that I went for. I've actually done that a few times in the past, and it's really helpful if you're indecisive or if you have a few to put up and you want to figure out a nice composition before you commit to putting holes in the wall. Although, as you saw a few minutes ago, I'm really not afraid of putting holes in the wall anymore. Once you do the first like 10 to 15, you don't want to stop. So there it is. I'm thinking of this as being phase 1, which is now complete, because I keep making little changes and I can't keep filming or the video will never come out. And I know this goes without saying because I did all of this, but I've never been in a place that is so specifically suited and set up for my exact needs, and it feels great. And there's just so many little details that I really like having so much metal around is great for magnets. I have this little clip which stops my laptop charger from falling down behind my desk when I unplug it. These little Tipp-X dots tell me which way the USB goes in when I'm connecting my hard drives. And there's so many little things like that that are specifically designed to make my life easier, you know? I'm not much of a plant person, but I can absolutely see how like 1 or 2 somewhere here might make the place a lot better. That's all I have to show you for now. Thanks for watching. Thanks for coming with me on this. How long was it? Basically a year-long journey from start to finish. I hope you enjoyed it. Like and subscribe, do all that stuff, and I'll see you real soon. Thanks.